this question came up, and I've been kind of fascinated. We've done this the last couple of days. We've kind of had a couple of topics based off of, some things that people have texted in or dropped in the chat on the YouTube, on the Twitch. So very much encourage that if y'all can participate in that. But this came in from the 972. Serious question at this point in the season with about a month left. Why are the Rangers playing with rehab stints for Scherzer and deGrom? Now, obviously, this question came in yesterday. In the meantime, Max Scherzer was scratched from his expected rehab start tonight due to arm fatigue. And I know he's not under contract next year. At this point, does it feel like that might be a wrap for him? I mean, I know nobody should decide that for him, but it feels like we're getting to that point.
Yeah, I would, if you made me, let's say, because we were talking about betting.
Yes.
If you made me bet, I would say he doesn't pitch another inning this year in the majors. Maybe a week from now or whatever, he feels good enough to make a rehab stint to see how it feels. I think it's 50-50 Max Scherzer retires at the end of the year. And I would say he's not going to be a Texas Ranger next year. So I don't know if he's going to pitch again. I just don't think, from what I, think, I guess I'll just say, is I think that Max Scherzer, they were hoping he had something left in the tank. And unfortunately, his arm at 40 years old, let's face it, 99% or more of major league pitchers, their arm is not going to respond at 40 years old to keep pitching. And his arm is finally, I think, giving out on him. He's a easy first ballot Hall of Famer, great pitcher. But then we move on to Jacob deGrom, who's not an easy first ballot Hall of Famer, but pitched yesterday 2 innings. I would say this. Here's the answer that I would give to somebody saying, why not just throw him in the majors yesterday, 2 innings? I would say this. 1, he might kill your bullpen. And you'd say, well, who cares? We're out of the playoffs. Fine. Good response. But I don't want to throw him more than 25 pitches in an inning. If for some reason he struggles and he's on rehab, and I'm going to be, my brain is going different ways here. Tyler Mahle, they had to put back on the injured list because he's throwing the ball 88 miles an hour. That hurt you going forward the rest of the few days until you had the day off yesterday. And if you have multiple guys in your rotation that you're not sure if they can pitch more than 5 innings because their arm isn't built up for it, I don't have an expanded roster. So then all of a sudden I throw Garabito 4 innings, or I throw Garabito and he gets hit up, and after 2 2/3 I have to take him out and I have to put in Urania. And Urania throws 3 innings. Well, those guys are down for the next 2 or 3 days in my pen, so I can really hurt other guys in the bullpen. So you can give him a couple of innings. I know he has to get 3 outs. He has to get 3 outs in Frisco. You can't just take him out and go, he's throwing 25 pitches. We'll switch the field, where that's how you can do it in spring training or stuff like that. So it gives him competition, but yet if he's throwing 25 pitches in an inning and you're like, that's plenty, I'm not pushing him any further. You can take him out and you can ruin your Double-A bullpen and move guys up from A ball. And it's like, so what? Kind of, my guys in Double-A, I'm paying $1,500 a month. I'm not ruining anybody financially here if I accidentally blow out the guys that I think have 0% chance of ever throwing in the major leagues their whole life. So that's it's a little bit more controlled, and you can build up his arm a little bit better there. And I would expect Jacob deGrom has 1 more appearance in the minor leagues to throw about 45 pitches his next time out. And then I do think it is a real discussion. Hey, do we just go ahead to give him major league innings, bring him up, because he should be built up to 50, 60 pitches? And you still have to be very careful with that. But when you get to September 1st, you will probably add Jack Leiter to your bullpen.
Yep.
So now you do have 1 more extra long guy to kind of, hey, if Jacob deGrom throws 50 pitches in 2 innings, well, shoot, Jack Leiter's built up that if he pitches well, we can throw him 5 innings. And he can get us all the way to the 8th inning. And so what? Jack Leiter then can't pitch again. We'll just have him kind of back up Jacob deGrom next time. And we'll keep him on that kind of rotation. Or if Kumar Rocker ends up getting called up because guys are kind of hurt, maybe Kumar Rocker can kind of be a backup, or Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter can combine for 1 start. Hey, Rocker's starting, Leiter's relieving, and maybe next time Leiter starts and Rocker relieves, and we combine for them to get approximately 18 outs. So I think in September you can play this a little bit more, but for Jacob deGrom right now, he is still building up arm strength, and we just saw Tyler Mahle built up all the arm strength and had no setbacks. Yeah. And then his third outing threw the ball 88 miles an hour on a consistent basis.
And Boch admitted you got to be more careful with those people.
And this is Jacob deGrom's second, and he's 36 years old. Right now, they're just being as careful as possible because guess what? Ray Davis is down there watching his bullpen last time. Because you know why? Because he has approximately, after this year is over, he has approximately $120 million invested in the next 3 years in that pitcher.
Like per day, it feels like with that guy.
I mean, if you want to break that down per day, we probably could. It would depress like all of us regular working folks.
Are we afraid that his tendon is connected with paper clips and bubble gum and that it's just going to fall apart like that quickly? Like, is that really a concern for us
deGrom?
As fans? Yes. And because Kevin's kind of shaking his head yes here. And
I understand where you guys are coming from.
I'm asking this as a real thing.
I would say that might be too extreme, but you might worry about, hey, just put him in the major leagues. And let's just say yesterday, I didn't see his velocities, but it looked good.
Yeah, okay, actually, you know what?
Let me touch 100, I believe.
Yeah, let me play cut number 1 because I think that actually is mentioned in the audio here.
His time at Stetson, he did pitch in 84 1/3 innings. He routes the 2-2, wave and a miss. Strikeout number 3 for Jacob deGrom. They've come consecutively.
He did touch 100 at one point.
So great, that's awesome. Now, you got to just kind of watch that because if his velocity dips, it doesn't mean he's re-hurt, but it just means his arm isn't prepared to throw every 5th or 6th day yet. And Tyler Mahle's arm is not prepared to throw every 5th or 6th day at a major league competitive level.
Now, the idea, the concept of you're not just putting him out there just to get people to show up in the stadium, right? Like that's not what you're doing here at the end of the season. Is this a natural part of the rehab for him? Is to be pitching at the end of this season? Look, he needs to throw. We need to see if he can do these things because the doctors are like, he has to go out there and get back to who he is. So whatever's left of this season, if he can go out there and do it, he should.
Because the alternate, I guess,
I don't know.
I mean, I want to find out more about that because the alternate is you're pitching in meaningless games. And so, like, why would you pitch him in meaningless games when you could just be like, hey, appreciate the work you've put in. Glad you're good to go. Let's still be good to go in February or March.
The Rangers believe they need to build up a little bit of arm strength here. He is healthy enough to. I would pitch him. I'm weirded out by them just shutting down Jack Leiter. I don't know as much as they know, but when July 27th came, they're like, you're not pitching again until mid-August. I'm like, he's only throwing 67 innings in the minor leagues and, I don't know, approximately 10 innings in the major leagues. So I'm like, he's at 77 innings? Like, you need your starting pitchers to throw approximately, this sounds so low to me, but it is the game today, 150 innings a year. And so if he's only going to throw 100 innings this year and you're shutting him down for 2 weeks in late July, mid-August, that's weird to me. But the Rangers have a philosophy that, you know, I could probably talk to them and they could explain it to me better, that they don't like pushing their guys very much. That being said, they don't want to push Jacob deGrom, but they think yesterday was 2 innings pitched. If they can get him, I'll throw out 25 innings this year combined, maybe 30 innings combined between the minors and the majors. That's something to build upon in the offseason, that he violently threw the ball competitively as hard as he could, because no matter what, I think everybody's a little bit different. I was extreme, and I know that I'm not Jacob deGrom, but I would throw the ball about 78 to 81, trying to throw the ball as hard as I could in my bullpens. And then in the game, I would throw the ball 84 to 88, somewhere in that range, just because of the competitive nature of the adrenaline rush and the competition of facing guys. And so I asked him the other day in the dugout, Jacob deGrom. I was talking to him. It was all the media. It wasn't just one-on-one. But I was asking him about, hey, did you throw the ball harder in your facing hitters on the field than you did in your bullpen? And he said, I was happy with my velocity on on the mound against like Ezekiel Duran, Robbie Grossman, a couple of guys that were hitting against him. But he's like, we weren't gunning me in the pen, so I don't know if my velocity changed or not. But he's like, when I get on the mound and I go from bullpen rehab kind of stuff and then I get on the mound, I will get an adrenaline rush, and usually the ball raises up on me. So I got to really work on getting the ball down. My adrenaline rush, he's like, for sure gets the ball higher than I want it to be, as in like chest high instead of getting the ball below the belt to the hitter.
What is the difference, Mike, in general pitching arm soreness and, oh man, this might be another problem again? Like when he's out there. And
he should not feel any soreness, any pain in his elbow. If he does, we have a major issue.
Yeah.
His pain and you don't want to feel anything in your forearm. You don't want to feel anything in your fingers. You want to feel it in your bicep and your lat.
Okay.
Nothing in your shoulder. If your bicep is tender, like after yesterday, he didn't throw tons of pitches, but if his bicep's a little bit tender today, his lat's a little bit tender, that is perfect. Those are your big muscles taking on a lot of the energy that you're throwing with. When you start feeling forearm, that means usually tendons, ligaments in your elbow are getting stressed out for some reason. You're feeling something like numbness in your fingers. That means now nerves are getting pinched or somewhat damaged that we're really afraid of. Shoulders, obviously rotator cuff, and those are too small to support throwing the ball violently like that. Like what I mean is that's why you do those Job's exercises, what we call, is you're doing those exercises. Yes, you're strengthening those, but those, you don't want them taking on the brunt of the throwing. You want your bicep and you want your lat when we're talking about things that are going to be sore, because you might feel a little bit of soreness in your low back. You might feel a little bit of soreness in your hamstrings, because those are also bigger muscles taking on the violence of throwing a ball.
Real quick, one more baseball note. Corey, do you want the one with audio or without audio?
I'll with, if it's the better one.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Oh, man. The without then.
All right, I think you made the right choice.
With or without you.
So
you too.
Walker Buehler's dad. There's a
Walker Buehler love here lately.
Yeah, I know. This is just really interesting to me. Walker Buehler's dad. There was a post up from eBay because he bought a Walker Buehler card for like $20. I don't remember exactly which one. The seller asked, "Is this Walker Buehler?" And his dad responded, "No. This is, however, his dad, Tony. He doesn't collect his own cards, but someday he will get all that I've collected since he was drafted in 2015. That is currently at 14,000 and counting."
That's awesome.
I do think that's kind of awesome.
As long as they're worth something, right?
But they're not.
Oh, well.
They used to be. Then he blew out his arm. And they all went to nothing.
So it's tough because he can't get free agency, so you'd hope the cards would be a nice fallback, and now it's looking like...
I have had people on eBay, when I buy something, when I get it in the mail, they'll say, big fan, Tolo, or like you on the pre and post game. So I have gotten, when I've bought stuff off of eBay, I have gotten messages either through the mail, or they might respond and go, "Hey, are you Mike Bassick on the radio? Or are you Mike Bassick?" Usually it's radio, to be honest, rather than the former pitcher. And I'm like, yeah, I am. Congratulations.
I am famous.